and they got inside while the protest was going on the other side of the street. And then some of them skipped on over, if you look over to the left, and they looted this Ray-Ban store. And for a moment there, as I said to you, it was apocalyptic. It was just us walking through here with just our crew, and we ran into Police Chief Michael Moore of the LAPD. The first thing I want to ask you is, have you ever seen anything like this, and how are you dealing with it?
Yes, we've seen it, and it's one of our darkest days when I saw it last, and it's repeating, and it's a very bothers me a great deal.
As you look to your right, you saw that police COVID on fire. What went through your mind?
Well, that to the extent that that was targeted because it has our name on it, I'm less concerned that I'm seeing just a destruction across businesses across this entire city. Business owners who have been through this pandemic, not even through this pandemic, but are suffering such economically and such loss of their livelihood, and now have been targeted through this these last now 4 nights of this ordeal. So I'm thankful that I'm thankful that our officers, while they're valiantly going out there, their injuries to this point and across the city has not involved a death, but I'm troubled. The level of this escalation. You know, the first, second night was isolated events. Last night certainly was not, and the amount of attacks on our officers was extraordinary, and it goes back generations to find a similar time. And tonight, unfortunately, today is matching that. And so, you know, the steps that we're taking are extreme, but we're going to start every moment. We're going to start every day, as we did this morning with the sun coming up. There's hope. There's a hope that we can work through this, and that we can, as people are suffering and as people feel injustices that they experience and they've experienced at the hand of law enforcement, we hear them, we see them, we recognize it, and we acknowledge and we're part of it. But this is not the solution. What we're doing to control this, and what I want to assure LA, is we haven't given up. We haven't given up on LA, and LA should not give up on itself. We can pull around this. What we need to do is come to terms with understanding people are hurting and going through a great grief and anger and frustration, and we need to find a narrative that finds an opportunity to have progress. But this is not progress, and so I'm signaling to people that we will not fix this. Policing doesn't fix these type of societal ills, and so I need all of Los Angeles to step forward to be a part of the solution.
Do you have any idea how many arrests you've made, or what the level is of the looting?
It's extensive. We will continue to make arrests as a last consequence, as a result of attacks on our personnel, on example of looting, of vandalism. We're trying to avoid arrests for simply refusing to leave a closed area. But in those instances, once an area becomes embroiled with such violence and such dangerous circumstances and such damage, if you will, to the economy and the very livelihood of a community, it's an unsafe area. It's an unsafe circumstance. And whether a person is there with the most righteous grievance in the world, just as every other disaster, they've got to leave. Not only for their own safety, but for the safety of the community. And that's why I'm asking tonight, again, there's many people who are hurting, that want to be heard and want to be seen, and want to know that we're listening. But the way to achieve that is not through violence, it's not through setting fires, it's not through attacking police officers, it's not through jeopardizing life. And we are doing that. Now, LAPD, our public safety agencies, we're leaning in, and we're going to do everything we can to counter those forces that are seizing this moment and taking advantage of it. But with that, we need a lot of help.
I thank you so much for taking time out. I appreciate it. Chief Moore. That was the chief of the LAPD, Don, in this moment where there was looting, a fire, and this protest that started so peacefully that somehow wound up in so much violence. Back to you, Don.
I think the last time I saw anything like this, I don't know if it's the same scale, Oliver Cannon, but I think it was during Rodney King. We will see how this plays out. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Paul Buchanan will get back to you. Scenes that are playing out in Los Angeles. Brian Todd is in Philadelphia for us this evening, where protests have turned violent. People crowd setting fires there. And there's also state police are trying to tear down, we're told they're trying to tear down a statue of a former mayor. What is going on?
Right, Don, this city really devolved into chaos over the past few hours. I'm going to show you where we are in City Hall right now. The police have done like a massive sweeping of this area, clearing of this area. This is a car that was vandalized earlier. There's a car that was burned out. You can see the extent of the damage to that car. Totally burned out earlier. This car heavily vandalized. Our photojournalist Andrew Smith and I are going to walk you over here. We do have some pictures from earlier today of this area here. You've got some burned out cars being removed over here. And so several fires were set here near City Hall. Fires were set all around this area, and multiple structures were set on fire. We have been moved to this area by the police because they're doing a sweeping operation at Chestnut and 18th Street, roughly around there, where there was massive looting going on. I mean, that a couple of hours ago, that place was completely chaotic. We were pushed from that general area back over to this area when police moved in to start to arrest some of the hardcore looters. I'll take you down here again as we move down this street right next to City Hall. There's a statue over here of former Philadelphia Mayor Frank Rizzo that was a real target early on in these protests and in the violence here. Andrew, if we can just kind of do a pan over here, you can see the statue of former Mayor Rizzo there, heavily vandalized. There was a fire set near here. There were several fires set near here as protesters converged near City Hall, tried to breach City Hall, unclear how far they got. So we did get some information as well earlier from the Commissioner of Police of Philadelphia, Danielle Outlaw, and the Mayor, Jim Kenny. What they've said is at least more than a dozen police officers were injured today during all of this as they tried to move in, tried to stop some of the looting, tried to stop some of the vandalism. At least 13 police officers were injured, they said, by people throwing objects at them, people throwing urine and things, the chemicals inside canisters, things like that. So the police have had casualties here. Some civilians have been injured, but Commissioner Outlaw did not have exact numbers on how many civilians have been injured here in Philadelphia today. So real scenes of chaos and destruction here, heavy violence here, Don. We don't know really if it's calmed down because our team was moved a few blocks over this way. Again, 18th and Chestnut, kind of back into this area over here. We were down there a little bit earlier. We were pushed over here by police. We're told that they moved in to try to arrest some of the hardcore looters. What the Mayor Jim Kenny has said is that, of course, the vast majority of protesters who were here earlier today in this area and in the area of the Philadelphia Museum of Art were peaceful. They were, of course, very passionate. They were angry, but they were peaceful. And then in the mayor's words, he used this phrase. He said a ragtag group of people then started to commit most of the violence and most of the looting. Now, and I did hear the police commissioner, Danielle Outlaw, say that many outside agitators have come in to start trouble. That's, of course, a refrain, Don, we've heard in Minneapolis, we've heard in Los Angeles and Atlanta and other places, that it's a lot of this chaos and violence is caused by outside agitators. That's according to many of the city officials, and that's the same refrain that we're hearing here in Philadelphia, Don. So we're going to try to get around some of these areas to show maybe some of the arrests being made. We don't know how close we're going to be able to get because the police now are acting very sternly, very aggressively to try to push some of the media people back into this area of City Hall. Don.
If you want to continue to walk, I'll talk a little bit. I know that city very well, Brian. You're right now where you are, Market and Broad Street, if you're right across from City Hall. What happens is if you go, Market and Broad meet, right? And so the street opens up, goes right around City Hall. City Hall, you're actually right in the center of Center City, and that's where everything meets, right there in the middle. And so, and the major government buildings are all there. Go ahead. What are you trying to point out? Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Don. This is another area. This is again where the statue of Mayor Rizzo is. You can see a lot of the debris here, and the police have set up a cordon around this municipal service building here. You know that, of course, you're familiar. That's a key building here in downtown Philadelphia. City Hall's right over here. We're going to go to 15th Street over here in this corner, see what we can see. As police have set up perimeters all through this area, we had to walk through several cordons of police just to get here. And we're going to try to get to some of the areas where they're making arrests now, but I don't know, honestly, how close we're going to be able to get. So the police have been pretty stern in moving us around. Here is a presence of...
Where are you going now? Is this...
Again, the mayor...
Is this 15th Street? Which...
Don, we're...
Give me some direction where you are.
And John F. Kennedy Drive. 15th Street and John F. Kennedy Drive. So, I know that 18th and Chestnut, Don, is what we were told, where there were some really horrible scenes of looting, some real chaos going on. 18th and Chestnut, a few blocks from here. Our team was down.
So Brian, let me tell you why that is. That's where all the shops are, and as you get, that is sort of the Rodeo Drive, if you will, of Philadelphia, where all of the shops, and as you get closer to sort of the wealthier area of Center City, it would be Rittenhouse Square. So if the rest are probably there, because if there's looting going on, they're probably trying to get to those stores. But Brian, go ahead and try to get to that. I'm going to sneak in a break here, and we're going to continue to follow what's happening all across America tonight. Our Brian Todd reporting from Philadelphia. This is Seattle, Washington, and this is from our affiliate Cairo. Let's listen a little bit.